Hello, this is my review of The Witcher 2 for PC. At first, I wasn't really thinking of getting Witcher 2 for my PC. Main reason was that I didn't really think my computer would be able to run it since it was a pre-built computer and all. But then I decided to buy it since it was $39.99 on my eBay games. I got it for like $3 after I traded in 3 games that I didn't really need. Was really surprised that my computer was able to run Witcher 2 at ultra settings, though without over sampling at a constant 30 frame rate per second. Though note that I haven't played the first game, so I won't be able to compare the two. The Witcher 2 is a third-person role-playing game that was developed by CD Projekt Red for PC and is now being developed for the Xbox 360. Note that this review will have few spoilers in it, so without further ado, let's begin the review. Graphically, the game is gorgeous. The environments, objects, enemies, and NPCs are really detailed. Even on low or medium setting, the game looks very stunning. The game takes you into 4 chapter arcs: Prologue, Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. There is an epilogue, but that's really short, like 10 to 20 minutes. Each act takes you to various environments ranging from forest towns to ruins. The environments in each of the chapters looks very stunning and varied enough to immerse you into the Witcher universe. The area in each act is pretty big as well. What makes the game even more breathtaking is the little details that the developer added to the game, ranging from the runes you see in your steel silver sword to how the NPC AI reacts to ongoing weather. This, with a fantastic visual, really immerses you in The Witcher 2. The story in The Witcher 2 is also pretty good. What makes The Witcher 2 story compelling is that the decision as you, the player, as in Geralt, gets to make. Each decision isn't really black and white. Geralt's decisions ultimately have consequences, whether they be good or bad, in regard to the plot of the game. Basic synopsis of the story is that Geralt has been captured by Temeria, because you supposedly killed King Foltest, and after Roche, leader of Temeria's special forces, the Blue Stripes, hears your story, you are charged with finding the one who framed you. Oh yeah, one more detail. Geralt suffers from amnesia, like in the first game, though I'm not sure how accurate I am since most of my research is based on Wikipedia in regards to The Witcher 1. What sets The Witcher 2 from most other RPGs is that the decision you make in the game can dramatically change how you play the game. One such example is in Act 1. You can choose to help either Jorvif or Roche. Depending on who you decide to help, the scenario in Act 2 can dramatically change. The fact that such scenarios can change depending on Geralt's decision can warrant multiple playthroughs. The Witcher 2 main gameplay elements can be divided into combat, meditation, minigames, and stealth. I first discussed the combat system in The Witcher 2. In combat, you have 2 kinds of weapons. You have your typical steel sword for human-type enemies, and you have silver sword for monsters. Newcomer to the series, like me, might get a bit annoyed with the fact you have to switch weapons for certain enemies, but it will become second nature to you and improve the combat, since it provides you having become a bit more tactical in which enemies to fight. Combat itself plays like an action game with RPG elements. You got your standard, normal, heavy attacks, and magical buffs and attacks. The combat system itself requires you to play tactically than just button mash. If you expect to just waltz into a group of enemy and just button mash, then you're going to lose a ton of health or die. One reason for this is that you can't cancel your attack, so you have to be very careful on how you attack and your positioning in regard to the enemy. The game also encourages the use of bombs and traps, since that could make life a whole lot easier due to the fact that they have area of effect. In regard to your physical attacks or magical attacks, which usually only target one enemy unless you upgrade them in the skill tree. There are also various enemy types ranging from the usual human to the rot fiend, which really mixes up the fighting. There are also quick time events in the game. There's not too many of them, and not most of them aren't too hard to complete, though there is an option to turn them off in the options menu. Though know that the combat system has a few problems. One most defining problem for me is the targeting system is a bit iffy. Sometimes the game will target a different enemy I choose, and Geralt will hit a defending enemy, gets parried, which gets him open to enemy attack, which might result in death. Now I get to the meditation part of the game. During meditation, you can make bombs, potions, rest, drink potions. Take a meditation like preparation screen for battles. You can't drink potion during battle, so choosing which potion to drink before each battle really gives you a tactical choice how to approach a battle. You also have to take account to how toxic it can be to Geralt, since there is a limit to how many potions he can drink. There is one problem I have with the meditation part of the game. The fact that the game itself doesn't really give you much hints about the area you're about to venture, such as what kind of monsters, virtue in there, except for during certain scenes in the game, makes the game kind of like trial and error regarding to which potion you should drink. Except for the mine scene, which is pretty obvious that you have to use the cat potion since it's so dark. Though this problem is very minor, since the only time you really need alchemy is if you're taking a pure alchemy path or on higher difficulty. Leveling is pretty basic. You go around, earn experience, and then you just put points on your skill tree. There is the Witcher's training path, which you have to unlock all of the skills first before you can unlock the warrior path, alchemy, and magic path. Then it's pretty customizable. You can either go pure warrior path, pure magic path, pure alchemy path, mix it up between the three paths. I mostly went to warrior and magic path. Warrior so I can, since I'm more melee based type, and magic because of Qun, the barrier spell, which are very useful. Now we get to the minigames. Minigames are pretty fun. There are fistfights, arm wrestling, and dice. Most of the minigames are quick QTE, which requires you to press certain buttons in the right combination at the right time, or using the mouse. They're pretty easy, and they're also an easy way to make money as well. They're a good distraction. Stealth elements is really basic. Sneak around and just stun your enemy and move on. It reminds me of the stealth element in Batman Arkham Asylum, minus Batman's cool arsenal of weapons, being able to hookshot yourself to the ceiling, being able to knock off a guard from that side ceiling. And it's not as polished as Batman Arkham Asylum, but it works. Difficulty wise, I didn't find Witcher 2 too difficult. I mean, I think it's at the right difficulty. It gets progressively easier as you get better weapons, better armor, better skill, and get more familiar yourself with the combat system. The bosses are a bit difficult, but once you figure out their pattern, they're pretty easy to beat. Content wise, I found Witcher 2 to be a bit shorter than other RPGs I bought. I was able to complete it within 20 hours or so. The thing that you really notice how it's a bit shorter is Act 3. I mean, Act 1 and Act 2 has plenty to do, but Act 3 is pretty short compared to Act 1 and Act 2, or even Prologue. Witcher 2 is also a bit linear, but Witcher 2 really hides it well due to the compelling story, and the fact that Witcher 2 isn't very long compared to other RPGs. So yeah. Ultimately, The Witcher 2 is an amazing game. It's a beautiful game, has a compelling storyline which warrants multiple playthroughs. The combat system is pretty good, not the best, but pretty good. And the minigames are pretty fun as well. There are a few problems with it, such as the targeting system, the length of the game itself, and a few minor problems. But overall, it's a good game. You can tell the developer really gave it a all in creating the game, from the gorgeous graphics to even the box set of the game itself. Really. Just look at the box set. You don't really see a box set like this for PC gaming. Overall, I would say it's worth my money, though I only paid like $3. So that's not really saying much. Anyway, I give The Witcher 2 a personal score of 8.5 out of 10. It's a great game, but the gameplay problems do drag it down a bit in my opinion.